Let's say this is your roller coaster. Is this really is this really a roller coaster? Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over just another concept with you guys in terms of being able to play along with your favorite worship songs. Today we're going to be going over song structure, right? And so right here, I actually just have a disconnected roller coaster, right? So I want you to think of every song that you play as a roller coaster, okay? And so you have the lows, the highs, a little bit more lows, maybe one more high right here, and then you have some progressive highs going into maybe just a consistent high, which is still kind of at the same level. Okay, and so because right here we have the start of the roller coaster and then we have the end, right? The start usually with some, we could start with slower songs, right? And so right here, this isn't really, you wouldn't really consider this a high. So I would consider this maybe like to the low, medium in terms of energy. The starting point, we're going to consider this the verse, right? Because most of the times you start the songs with the verse, sometimes you start with the chorus, but this, in this case, it's going to be just the verse. And depending on where you are on this roller coaster, you want to be playing something specific, okay? Maybe it's just silent drums, so no drums, right? Unfortunately. Unfortunately, no drums, okay? And so, but once we move to the chorus, okay, right here, maybe we add something. Maybe we add some cymbals. So we have some cymbal hits. So I'll say cymbal hits right here, right? But if you notice here, there's still a disconnect, right? Um, in terms of trying to get to the verse and to the chorus, right? What we can do, if I erase just a little bit of this, right? And this doesn't mean I'm erasing part of the chorus, so don't take that as a mistake. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something here, which is going to be the bridge towards the chorus. And this bridge right here, I might add some swells. So I might play the crash, right? Going into the chorus. So that way I'm not just going from no drums and then chorus, boom. It's like you want to have some kind of transition in between. And that goes for the rest of the song. So maybe I I swell again with the cymbals. So I go like this, and then maybe I do some kind of fill right here, and then I do something else here, and then we continue to progress towards the song. So let's say for the chorus, I'm just hitting the cymbal. Maybe it's just the right cymbal, right? Because it's still a quiet chorus, but essentially it's still considered more energy compared to the verse that we just came out of, which had no drums. Okay. And so let's say I go into verse 2. Okay. So this is your verse 2. And so now we can actually add some drums, maybe an actual beat. So we'll say groove 1. Okay. Actually, I'll write it right here. I'll write it right here. So from verse, no drums, go into chorus, we play some cymbal hits. We go back into verse 2. Now we're playing a groove, okay? Which is, it can be a beat. So I'm going to go back to the previous video where I was just playing this super simple beat. I'm not playing eighth notes yet. We'll go into that later. Um, and so these are just quarter note hits. It's not necessarily a full beat, um, but at least we're playing something, and it's different from what we played before, and it's totally different than what we played for the very first verse. Okay, and then go into the chorus right here, and maybe we play this exact same thing but louder. So we change the dynamics. So we can say here loud groove. Okay, so now we're playing a loud groove coming out of the verse 2. So we can play some cymbals here, go into the chorus, right? And then I'm actually going to change the roller coaster. Okay. So this is actually going to go lower, maybe down here. Okay. So this is going to be completely quiet where it's not just you that's not playing the drums, but maybe all the other instrumentalists kind of cut out. And now it's just the singers. And yeah, no guitarist, no pianist, no bass player, no one's playing, and it's only the singer singing and maybe the congregation too. So this is like super quiet, but maybe you still have a cappella, okay? And so you're in this part where from here all the way to here, you have the bridge. So I'm just going to write this right here. You have the bridge of the song, okay? And depending on where you are, in terms of if you're at bridge 1, 2, or 3, okay? And you see how the energy is changing. So this is your first bridge, this is your second, and this is your third. That's not a 3. And that's your third bridge, okay? You see the energy is changing. So maybe you're playing something here light, you're playing something a little bit loud, and then you're playing something really loud, right? And in between these, you could add some kind of fills, right? So that way you're transitioning from super quiet going into the first bridge. Maybe I don't even have to play a fill actually. I can maybe just play some cymbals going into the second, going into the third. It's really loud up here, right? In terms of the energy. So we can stay at this level of energy, right? And once we get back into the chorus right here, we can play a fill somewhere there, right? But now we're just maintaining this energy. So this is your last chorus, and it's still loud because compared to all of this, right? You're at this higher level. Maybe this should be a little bit higher, but essentially, this is loud, right? And by the end of the chorus, you cut out right here, and you wash out with cymbals, and then that's the end of the song. So hopefully that makes sense. Essentially, what you want to do for every single song is you don't want to play the same thing. Let me create another roller coaster just at the bottom. Let's say this is your roller coaster. Is this really is this really a roller coaster? And you're playing the same thing like this? So it's a sad roller coaster, right? So you want to add some dynamics unless the song is asking where it's just going to be a mellow song throughout the whole thing. So essentially, they might not even need a drummer. Unfortunately, they might not even need a drummer. But, you know, maybe you could add some light cymbals somewhere here. Maybe let's say this is your verse, and the verse you add some cymbals, and then now you're at the chorus. At the end of the chorus, you add some cymbals, and then you go into the bridge, and then some more cymbals. I mean, technically, if the band isn't strict or whoever's leading isn't strict, they will allow you to kind of add your own stuff. But essentially, for most other songs, you want to be playing different things, not where you're showing off and you're like, look, I can do this, look, I can do that, but you want to support what the song needs, right? Because every song has different levels of energy, and it has, you know every song has its own dynamics. So hopefully that helps, and thank you for watching.